Great. So first of all, welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for watching this recording. We're so excited to have you on board this year, and you're joining a really amazing community of Marrow groups, and we can't wait to see what you get up to this year. So hopefully this session will tell you everything you need to know for the coming year and how you can really make a life-saving difference to people with blood cancer and blood disorders through the amazing work that you'll be doing with your Marrow group.
Let me know if you can't hear the video. Good.
20 years of students really coming together and working towards a very important goal. Motivated, young, intelligent workforce.
It's been a massive part of my university experience, and I'm really grateful for it.
The more people I met through Marrow, the more people who signed up to register, it just kind of became a bigger and bigger part of my time at uni.
I was in the beginning of my third year as a medical student in Nottingham. A friend of mine had recently been diagnosed as having leukemia. I thought to myself, what can I do? We ran this clinic and ended up recruiting about 40 people onto the register. By the time I graduated, we were in 10 medical schools around the country, and then Marrow just grew and grew and grew. It's just been lovely watching it develop over those years.
My mum was diagnosed with a form of blood cancer. About a year or so before my mum was told that she had a match, and he was a complete stranger. It's 14 years later now, my mum's doing really well. Every person needs to speak to and sign up to the register that could potentially be that one person that saves their life.
She's been such a turning point in my life, going to university, seeing myself mature over the last 3 or 4 years in someone that can lead a group of people. And yeah, sign up over 1,000 people. It's been life-changing.
I'm really proud to be a donor. It feels absolutely amazing. What I'm doing here could help save a life, and it came from me just signing up at a Freshers Fair, which I'm extremely happy that I did.
If it wasn't for Marrow at university, I would have never signed up for Anthony Nolan. I would have never had this amazing opportunity to help somebody else.
I had my transplant in November 2015. Marrow have been there with me throughout my whole journey from being diagnosed all the way through, and the work that they did with me to help me personally through it was incredible. There are so many more people to reach, but what Anthony Nolan have done already is just absolutely fantastic, and I owe them my life.
It was the best thing I ever did at uni. It's so much fun, it's so rewarding. It's me to anyone that's involved with Marrow, and they'll tell you, get involved.
Amazing. So I hope that video got you feeling kind of inspired and excited for the year ahead. So first of all, I would want to introduce you to all of the different teams, Anthony Nolan, that will be helping you on your Marrow journey. So first of all, this is National Marrow. So these are members of university Marrow groups themselves, and they are basically representatives for kind of the whole of UK Marrow, and they are here to help you with your fundraising and donor recruitment events with your own group. So each of you will have a National Marrow steward. So they also have their own personal roles on National Marrow, whether it be social media, comms and campaigns, fundraising, development. Yeah, they have like their own special expertise in each. So we have Zarnaz, Ellen, Zoe, and Amy. And each of, as I said, each of your groups will be given one of these lovely National Marrowers to help you throughout the year. We then have the Marrow team. So we have Charlotte Cunliffe, Charlotte Hughes, Holly, and Neela. And similar to National Marrow, the Marrow team are here to help you with donor recruitment events, everything Marrow admin, all the serious Marrow stuff. They're here to help you with that. Then we have the fundraising team finally. So we have Gemma, myself, I'm Kira, and Lindsay as well. So we are the Marrow fundraising steward. So your groups will be stewarded by one of us throughout the year, and we're basically here to help you with your fundraising. So yes, as I said, so those three kind of groups of Marrow helpers are here to support you throughout the year. So your national rep will help you with planning events, any issues that you've got with your committee, and they're also there for peer-to-peer support. So your Marrow team steward will be able to help you with any donor recruitment queries, volunteer issues, and also questions about expenses. And then finally, your fundraising team steward will be able to give you advice on applying for fundraising grants, help with planning fundraising events, and also information on taking part in challenge events, such as kind of Great North Run, any runs, skydives, things like that. And this is just a little slide telling you how to kind of keep in touch and up to date with all the different teams and also the different kind of factions of Marrow. So we'd highly recommend that you join all of these Facebook groups yourself on your own personal account and also on your own Marrow group account. So we have Marrow presidents for any of the your Marrow group presidents, and we'd really recommend that all of you join the donor recruitment group, the comms and campaigns and fundraising, and throughout the year you'll just find really useful posts and kind of ideas and things. It's a great way to kind of share news about Marrow, and you can also ask questions, see what other Marrow groups are up to, and you'll see loads of important information on those Facebook groups. So make sure you give them a follow.
Perfect. So next we've got resources. So all of you should have a yourname@ukmarrow.org email account, so a personal Marrow email, and that gives you access to the whole of kind of Office 365. So if you need to store any volunteer data, so if you've got a mailing list or you've got a list of people signed up to volunteer from your Freshers Fair, you can store it on your 365 account. One of the biggest parts of the Office 365 account is the SharePoint. So this is essentially everything that you will need. So there's how to and ready to roll guides. So they are basically guides for each committee position. So if anyone is ever feeling like they're not entirely sure what their role is, you can refer to those. That's kind of a step-by-step of everything that you'll kind of need to do in those positions. We've also got a whole bunch of help when it comes to things like campaigns. So loads of social media plans, loads of infographics and just bits and bobs to help your social media. Lots of things like press releases. So if you're, say, doing a fundraising event, like a kind of a big thing that you're putting on, maybe like a massive cycle ride, or you're doing a mudder or something, and you want to tell your local press about it, we've got really useful templates to help you with that. We've got patient appeal resources. So I'm sure you've seen on other Marrow accounts potentially lots of patient appeals where they're urging people to join the register due to someone that urgently needs a transplant. All the resources that you need for that are on the SharePoint, as well as a whole bunch of other kind of admin bits like your expense form, your kind of insurance documents and things like that. And then the other kind of main resource that we've got is the Marrow merch. So your t-shirts, your hoodies, bottle openers, pens, pop sockets, all that kind of stuff is something that we send out at the beginning of the year. So some of you will probably have already got your merch boxes. If you haven't had a merch box and you need some new resources, then reach out to me, let me know, and I can get that organised. But essentially, everything that you could possibly need, hopefully, for the year ahead should be either at the end of your Marrow Reps fingertips or on SharePoint. So if there's ever anything where you need something and you're not sure where to find it, or you're not sure it exists, just let us know and we can help you find that, or we can create a resource if that's something that is missing and that you need to help your group. Then we also, as I've mentioned, we have Marrow Campaigns. So one thing that we'd really recommend is that for newer groups, for groups who are maybe just starting and kind of finding your feet a little bit, we'd really recommend basing your year of donor recruitment and year of fundraising around the Marrow Campaigns, just because there's roughly one a month, and it's a really nice, structured and really well supported approach to you doing those events. So like I said, there's a ton of resources for each one, and all of the various Marrow reps that Kira spoke about have a really good understanding of Marrow Campaigns. So we can absolutely help you with ideas for events, or if you need resources for those events. So in October, we've got Marroween, which, great pun on Halloween, of course. So that's usually really fantastic, things like bake sales. And then in November, we've got Hero Week, which is a massive week-long, a lot of donor recruitment events going on, lots of Marrows running around campus in capes, looking amazing, looking like actual superheroes. It's a really, really wonderful week where loads of Marrows get involved, and so you'd have a lot of support from Marrow groups all around the country. And yeah, they just essentially sign up a whole bunch of superheroes to the register. In December, we also do Marrow Christmas or Swabmas. The idea being that a lot of times people are more kind of generous and giving around Christmas time. So potentially doing a raffle at a local Christmas market could be a really nice idea, or just urging people to sign up to the stem cell register as a really wonderful gift of life this Christmas. In February, we also have Marrowmance and Tackling Inequalities. So Marrowmance is our Valentine's Day campaign that plays on the idea of the perfect match. So a lot of groups do things like raffles, people auctions, delivering roses to people's houses. So it's a really fun, like all of the campaigns are just a really like fun, light-hearted thing to get behind. And then Tackling Inequalities, that's something we run throughout the month of February. So as a lot of you will probably know, if someone is from a kind of white Caucasian background, then they've got a 71% chance of finding their perfect match on the register. But if they are from a minority ethnic group, then that drops to just 37%, which is of course not good enough. So one of the things that we try and do is encourage Marrow groups to recruit quality donors, which includes a lot of people from minority ethnic backgrounds. So in February, we really focus on getting collabs with maybe like Islamic Society or Sikh Society. Lots of those are already really attuned to Marrow groups and know what you guys are trying to achieve. So they're a really great collab to do. In March, we have March of the Men, which again is focused around quality recruitment. So young men make up only 18% of the register, but they provide over 50% of all the donations that happen. So we need more young men on the register because they're really likely to get chosen to donate. And thankfully at university, there's lots of young, healthy men around. So this is a chance to really reach out to those sports teams, reach out to all the men on campus and just encourage them to sign up to the register. And then in April, we have Miles for Marrow, which is great procrastination from your exams and your revision. It's a really fun campaign that you can take on yourself or you can take on with your Marrow group. But just running, walking, swimming, rowing 26.2 miles and raising money for Anti Nolan. It's a really, really fun event that the whole Marrow team also tends to get behind too. So you can see us doing lots of embarrassing things. But you can definitely use these campaigns throughout the year. As I said, we've got a ton of resources for them, so it's a really lovely starting point if you're not quite sure where to begin. There's lots of other Marrow groups that will have run events around these, so if you need some ideas and some inspiration, just go stalk the other Marrow groups, Facebook and Instagram. They won't mind. So one of the things that we wanted to focus on is volunteer recruitment, just because obviously at this time of year, you're probably in the process of trying to recruit more volunteers. it's really important that we get as many potential committee members and volunteers on board as possible, just because more people power generally means that you have the scope to do more events. If there's just one of you, we obviously don't want you to be trying to do like 2 events a week and getting really burnt out. So yeah, it just means that you can run bigger, potentially more successful events, and it's just less stressful for you. It's also a bigger pool of people to join the committee. So for making sure that you have a committee in place for next year, sustainability of the group, it just really helps, again, alleviate the stress from you. And it also means that you can have more fun, make more friends, and save more lives, which is always a wonderful thing. Most of my uni friends are people I met in Marrow, and it is just an amazing community, amazing family of people. So you would probably make friends for life if you recruit those volunteers. So that's just to say, like, try and prioritize volunteer recruitment at your freshers fairs, at your first few events, just to give you a really solid basis. And then what comes next after you've done your freshers and you've hopefully got a lovely long list of people who are really excited to start volunteering with you, is that you will just need to train them up to help them understand how to run donor recruitment events. So we've got a whole kind of training plan, a whole training presentation on 365 on that SharePoint. So make sure to check that out. One of the really lovely things to do is to have a look through the Anthony Nolan YouTube channel, probably have a bit of a cry at some of the really wonderful, heartwarming stories, and just pick some of your favourites and play them. One of the bits of merch that we also have is a volunteer handbook. So you can give one of those to each person who comes along, and make them really kind of feel part of something. It's a lovely kind of, I think, about 20-page booklet. So it's got a whole bunch of the history of Marrow, really inspiring, really shows why it's important and how they can make an impact. So it's a really lovely resource to just pass along to those volunteers. And if you're happy, if you're comfortable to, tell them why you volunteer. It's a really lovely way to keep people inspired, but also there's a whole bunch of reasons why people might want to volunteer. So make sure you have kind of got a list in your head of potential skills that they can gain from volunteering with Marrow. A lot of people may want to do it as part of their D.of.E. skills and volunteering, might want to do it to help their CV, or just gain an understanding of some of the science behind donating stem cells. So just make sure that you've got that in mind when you're kind of trying to inspire people and trying to tell them what amazing stuff Marrow has to offer. We've written on here to provide pizza, just because if you have the promise of free food at an event, then more people are likely to turn up. You can talk to your Marrow team rep about a food budget for your training. We'll just agree with you what's a reasonable cost, and then you can go ahead and buy that and then expense it back, but just make sure you check with us first, just so we know and we don't have any random expenses coming in that we're not sure what they're for. But yeah, providing food is usually a really good idea. And one of the things that we'd also really recommend, because it's just really fun when people try and do it for the first few times, is try role plays of approaching people and giving the Marrow spiel. It's something that it takes a little while to perfect, and some people can be a bit nervous of doing it. So having a few goes with people in a safe, comfortable environment where it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, because they're other volunteers, they're not people trying to join the register. It's just a really nice way of kind of breaking the ice a little bit as well. So I'd really recommend just having some time to do that. So a top tip is that during your training and during maybe your first couple of donor recruitment events, and this can actually work quite nicely for your first couple of fundraising events as well, is to have a buddy system. So if you do have a few established committee members or volunteers, and then you have a few newer people, it's really nice to just pair them up with each other, just so that people feel more comfortable, they feel a bit more confident as well, so they don't necessarily have to do the first approach. They can stand back and watch someone else do it. And it's just a really lovely way to kind of build rapport with people as well, get those volunteers coming back because they now have a relationship with someone on the committee, or you know, a kind of very committed volunteer. So once they make friends, they're more likely to come back. So it's just a really lovely way of keeping people engaged. So what we wanted to do was just chat about any concerns you might have or any kind of questions, things you're looking forward to. So if you do have any issues or any concerns, any worries for the year ahead, please reach out to your national, your Marrow or your fundraising team rep. We're all more than happy to help you with any problems that you may be facing. National Marrow are going to be having president's calls soon, so look out for those. You can approach us if you're coming to the in-person conference, and we are also doing calls regularly throughout the year with committees. So if you have any problems, please do let us know, but don't feel like you have to wait for those calls. You can reach out to us at any point. You can email us, you can message us on Facebook, whatever you'd like to do. So just if you have any issues, make sure you don't face them alone. We're more than happy to help, and we've probably come across it so many times before, so we'll know what to do in most situations. So just to say, when it comes to events, when it comes to training, when it comes to recruiting volunteers, the main thing you need is enthusiasm, which I'm sure you have loads of, because you're here, you're doing Marrow, you're doing an amazing job so far. So all you need is enthusiasm. The rest will come along the way. But yeah, just kind of go out there with high energy and enjoy it, because Marrow is there predominantly to be enjoyed and for you to have an amazing time life-saving at uni. Let's go. Exciting. But yeah, if you are worried about anything or hesitant about anything, then you can always reach out to us. So don't feel like this is you have to get started now if you don't feel quite ready. So as I said, if you've got any questions, any worries, any concerns, then we will be here to help you with those. And thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll see you in person soon, and good luck with any events you've got coming up. See you soon.